it's just my regular one, I think. Hi, everybody. Welcome in to session 4. Can you believe it? I'm looking at the screen and I don't know why. I should be looking at the camera. Session 4. I'm still learning from this weekend of Living Magic for June. We are so quickly going to be in July that it's crazy to me. I'm not even going to talk about what that means, which is we're like a month away from the first harvest. And although we are going to talk about harvest stuff today with Lakshmi. So, and my chime. Yeah, I mentioned to Jared earlier. Yeah, I do need it for the sound bath. I forgot. I only have one chime. So we're going to have to move it back and forth from where I am right now to where we are for class. I do want to mention to you that I have a cold. I've been losing my voice since the angel retreat, and I'm fine. But I am trying not to talk when I'm not teaching, which is really hard for me. But I'm just, you know me, I don't like to cancel class. So my goal is to get through our 2 hours today. And
does that help?
For comments. So that is really helpful because otherwise I wouldn't see.
Can you see from there?
Is there a way to maximize the comments and not see myself?
I don't.
Because I don't want to put my readers on for. Anyway, we'll sort this out. But I do want to tell you, I'm going to do my best. If I lose my voice, obviously we will pick up and do another session. We also have Elder Council tomorrow. That's even better. So I sound good for now. I don't know if you can tell because if you've listened to me a lot in the past, you can tell there's a little scratch behind it. So mine is, I don't know where, maybe it's air quality or whatever, but I just want to let you know I will do my best because I don't want to lose you today and I don't want to lose you tomorrow. And then I'm taking a long weekend until Monday, which is a holiday for Team SG, but it's the full moon in Capricorn. But I will take Friday, Saturday, Sunday to rest my voice. And so I'm glad you can hear me. And I hope that I won't be able to project my voice like I usually do. So I'm just making sure that Alexis and their team, and they are putting microphones closer to me. Okay? Okay, so backing up, today's class is super important, and I know I have so much compassion for those of you in the Midwest because you've got the wildfires. That's not what's happening here. Our air quality is actually halfway decent on the coast of California, but please take care of yourself too. If the wildfires in Canada are impacting you, it's important for you to take good care of yourself as well. Would you mind bringing my Diet Coke over here because it might actually just help me kind of, and then I have cough drops and stuff too that I'll be using during class to get through. Yeah, but you guys in Chicago and then the Northeast have been really struggling with the air quality, so I'm really been thinking about you and sending lots of energies of clear energy from where we are. I know, because I absolutely understand. And may it all be in good form very soon. Okay, so I want to explain what today's class is about.
There's a couple of cough drops there.
Thank you. I don't want to cough during your sound bath. So I want to tell you what today's class is all about. And the reason, honestly, I don't like to move classes. It isn't just like, oh, Athena just works through whatever. It isn't that. When we design these classes, there are very specific energies associated with the classes and I guess this is worth mentioning because some of you might be new. I find that the classes are kind of magical, and I don't just mean the content. I mean like when we do what we do matters. Today's about manifestation. I had an experience earlier today that isn't relevant to class, so I'm not going to go into it, but it was absolutely one of the craziest, like, energetically synchronistic experiences I've had in a really long time, to the point where while I was in the moment having the experience, I was starting to tear up, and I don't tear up easily because there was such an odd synchronicity, and there, almost no one involved in what I'm talking about was even aware of it, and it has nothing to do with SG. So that's why it's not really relevant. But I'm just telling you, there's a serendipity to the timing of things that I don't like to interrupt as a human being just because I have vocal cords or I get sick or whatever. Like, I really try not to cancel class or move things because it's not about me. And honestly, sometimes it's not about individual people. It's about the collective and the kind of like what we're doing together. So I just want to tell you, like, I had kind of a magical experience today, and it was odd. But it reminded me that magic is really, really real. We should not forget two things. One, how small we are, and two, how important we are. On the one hand, right? And if you're wondering why I'm looking down, Alexis kindly put her computer here so I can read your comments. So I'm looking at the camera, but I'm also looking at the comments. Yeah, and Carissa said correspondences. I will also say holograms. Okay, so today I had an experience of being in two places at once. And I don't often have that experience, but I was literally two places at once. And it was crazy. And I haven't had a lot of times like that in my life. And it just reminded me, we're talking about Lakshmi today. And I want to be very clear what Lakshmi represents. And I might start to talk slower, so bear with me. Lakshmi is not just about money. Lakshmi is about expansion. And today we're going to be talking about the 8 faces of Lakshmi, the 8 keys. You can call them keys, you can call them codes. A lot of my friends in the metaphysical world call them codes. The 8 gifts, if that's an easier word for you, codes are the same things as gifts. They're things we open or things we unlock to reach like a new level. Video games are actually based on this concept of like unlock a new level. Like it's kind of your soul's path to evolution. And Lakshmi represents 8 gifts that she brings to humanity. Material wealth, like bucks, as Zoe used to call it when she was little, or like dollar bills, is only one of the 8 that she brings. And so I want us to reframe Lakshmi a little bit because I want us to see her as a couple of things. First of all, she's associated with wealth, which is always associated with the solar plexus. So I am going to be playing my solar plexus bowl today. I need to take some of my rings off for my hand pen work. She is associated with the solar plexus because this is the chakra of abundance. And I do want to ring my chime to open our class, by the way. If I ever forget to ring my bells, just remind me, because sometimes I'm like, oh, moving right into class content. And I don't want to do too much teaching right now because my notebook is at the desk, and that's when I'll really get into like the nuts and bolts of this.
Do you want me to read it to you?
No, because I don't want to get into the technicalities yet, but I appreciate it. So I'm going to stay high level with you. She's the goddess not just of wealth, but of synchronicity. And she governs so much more. You have to remember a couple of things. First of all, Lakshmi is the mother of Ganesha. You know that, right? And Ganesha is the Hindu god who helps us overcome obstacles to what we're trying to create. Lakshmi is his mother. I think my kids are super magical. Zoe's got powers. Nick's got powers. I'm their mom, right? So, and I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just saying I grew them, right? So when you think of Ganesha and you think of Ganesha's capacity to help you overcome obstacles, I want you to think about Ganesha as having come from Lakshmi as a source energy, a source frequency. And it's important to recognize that Vishnu is Lakshmi's consort, right? Lakshmi's husband, if you will. I don't like the word husband. Let's say partner. It's kind of like saying Jesus had a wife. Like, it's just, we put our 3D words onto these gods and goddesses, and they didn't really have husbands. Even consort's kind of weird. I was telling Alexis earlier, like some of the language we use around things for gods and goddesses is really strange. It's just so weird. But anyway, like maybe like boyfriend is probably more like, or I think I like consort. Consort is someone that you like do things with. She had a consort. So anyway, I just want you to recognize that there's like a family, there's a family tree, there's a lineage to these energies. And I don't even think of Lakshmi as a goddess. I think goddess is a weird word too. Why do we have to have gods and goddesses? They weren't male and female. And that's English. In English we go, oh, God is masculine and goddess is female. Like sage goddess is female. Is it? Like, I don't, I don't know. So I'm playing with all of these words and phrases today, but I just want to introduce you to the complexity of today's class. The chime for the month is something that after today, I would really love for you to hang in your space. And I hope you were able to watch Sergio's live with us, his session with us on Feng Shui. If you did not watch it, I highly recommend that you watch it and my class on the Bagua map before you hang this. Because normally you would go put this in the southeast corner of your home. Can I tell you something right now? This does not want to be in the southeast corner of my home. And when we first started talking about it, I was like, why? Like, there's no place for it. It doesn't want to go there. I tried to hang something in the southeast corner of my home and the nail came out of the wall. Now I've got lots of things standing on the floor and I have a fountain in the southeast corner of my garden, but nothing wants to be on that wall. And then I realized Lakshmi is not just about what the southeast corner tends to represent, which is material wealth. Like, I think she wants to go in a different room of my home. And Sergio would say, hell yeah, in his own, like, Sergio way, right? I don't think he would say hell yeah, but I think he would say, of course, like, there's other places for this chime to go. And so where does it want to go for you? Does it want to go into your corner of love and relationships? Does it want to go into your corner of, you know, of children or of helpful people? Where does it want to go in your home or your space? So I can 9,000% guarantee you, given my conversations with him and what he taught you, that he would tell you, don't just look at the southeast and pin it to the wall. Like, really look at where it wants to go. Sometimes Lakshmi wants to come from the west. And here in the office, I don't know if, Alexis, can you take a look at the wall? On the left side of the window, do you see how there's a space and on the right side there's not? I actually think this one needs to go there. Now that is not the southeast. That is due west. And I think the interesting part of that is west is water. And Lakshmi is associated with flow. So I actually think that's where it needs to go. This can absolutely go outside. It is brass and it's already oxidized and it's got copper in it. So this can hang outside. It will not be damaged anywhere you put it. And I'm going to work with Team SG, I think, to hang it right in that corner because I think it's just calling in the energy of the Pacific, which is due west from us. Like, just beyond that chime, if you look out that window and you throw an arrow, you're going to hit the Pacific Ocean. So I think that's what's happening. So yeah, if you want to put her, Amanda said I put her in my greenhouse, right? Annette said it's in my bedroom. By my altar and prosperity grid, I love that. And whatever corner that is for you, I think Sergio would say two things. First of all, look at your space. Remember that energy moves. Remember his discussion about this? Like, you can't put a pin in it and go, that's southeast, because the planet is moving. So it's like, yeah, that's southeast for today, but where is it tomorrow? And I think he would also look and say, how is the energy flowing and what's your intuition? And don't override that, because sometimes we make decisions about where to put things and it's not actually what's right for us in the moment. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, and I love it. Joy says west for Lakshmi resonates with me. I always call her in the west as like an ascended master and a guiding spirit, you know, and she's more than an ascended master, right? I mean, ascended masters are, in my experience, spirits who were once people, right? Like the Buddha was a man, Jesus walked the earth, right? Kuan Yin is a bodhisattva, so Kuan Yin reached enlightenment, chose to come back, right? And be here for us to cry our tears and be with us as a companion. So I think of my mom didn't believe in Buddhism, right? So she wouldn't have called them bodhisattvas, but my mom said angels walk among us. And so those people who are asking for a handout on the street, or those people who, I am that person who stops and buys flowers sometimes at the stoplight. Did I tell a story about that, by the way, last week? From the man I bought flowers from?
I don't think so.
So my mom's wake, her viewing was at Green Hills, which is a cemetery right over here, although she's buried at a different location at her request. But it was during COVID, and it would have taken 3 months to have everything at that other cemetery, and it seemed really strange to me. So I ended up having her viewing at Green Hills, and then we were able to bury her where she wanted to be laid to rest, near her stepfather. So at the corner where I have to turn, or I had to turn to go to her viewing, there's always a man who has flowers in a bucket. And he is the same man every time. I pass by him on my way to work and I pass by him on my way home. And I've always felt like a paternal energy from him. And this is part of Lakshmi, okay? He's an older gentleman. He always has a mask on outside. And some people say, like, why do people wear masks outside? People who wear masks outside usually have their own health problems. So we can't assume that they think that they're going to catch something and it's weird. A lot of times people who have like respiratory problems and health problems will wear a mask outside. And it was the first day last week when it got really hot. Do you remember that day? It was like humid and really, really hot for the first time here. And I was driving home. It was like 6:30 at night, Pacific time. And he usually has a full bucket on my way to work. And he usually has like still some flowers on the way home. There was a really long light, and he had one bouquet in his bucket. I'd never bought flowers from him before, and he kept going like this on his forehead because he was sweating. It was so hot. And I looked at him, and I swear something said to me, look, go in your wallet, what do you have? And I had a $20 bill. And something said to me, this is going to be a long light, get it out. And he was looking everywhere but me with his one bouquet of flowers. And I said, if he looks at me, but I mean, if the light turns, I gotta go. Like, I'm having this conversation in my car, and the spirit said to me, the light will not turn until you give him that money so he can go home. And I swear to you, I put my 20 out my window for the first time after seeing him for over, I mean, it's gotta be a couple years now. It's always the same man. Put my money out. Finally, he turned and looked at me, and he ran to me. And he said to me, thank you. And then he spoke to me in Spanish, and I thanked him in Spanish. And he started to cry. And he said, I want to go home. And I said, I know. Please go home now. And he gave me the last bouquet of flowers. And it was only 3 flowers, and they were wilted. I mean, wilted. I mean, roses that were wrinkled. There was a little daisy that was like, or whatever. And I'm telling you this story because this is totally how it works with Lakshmi, in my experience. I paid $20 for those. I didn't ask him how much it was. He took the 20. He didn't offer me change. It was an exchange, right? This was like how this was supposed to go. I got those flowers home. I put them in a vase. Do you know today, so they reanimated. This has been over a week. Those roses were not wrinkled. The instant they went in water, they reanimated. That daisy was like this. It lifted. And even my friend who came over the other day was like, that's the longest I've seen flowers survive. The greens were alive. Everything was alive because of the love that was exchanged between me and that man. Now, as soon as I gave him the money and he gave me the flowers and I told him to go home, I said, please tell me you're going to go home. He said, I'm going to go home. I looked and the light turned green and I was behind, right, like quite a few cars. But I've never seen the light. I've lived here for I'm turning 50 and I moved here when I was 6. I mean, I've been at that intersection since I was a small child. I've never seen the light last 10 minutes. I mean, I swear to you, it was 10 minutes at Western and, anyway, at Western and the drive there. So I share this story with you. Lakshmi wants you in a certain place at a certain time. And sometimes you're going to pay $20 for 3 dead flowers. And you're going to take them home and put them in water. And they're going to go zoop, and be the most beautiful flowers in your kitchen, which these were for over a week, to the point where your friend's like, how did you get your fun? And then my friend was like, did you put the little packet of stuff in there? And I'm like, nope. Right? Like, no, I didn't put the little packet of stuff. There was no packet of stuff, like the fertilizer. When you give, and I know not everybody gives to the people who are standing on street corners, and I use discernment when I do those things. But when you give from a pure heart, and I'm telling you the story now, but I didn't want any credit for it, and I still don't. My credit was knowing that that man who looks like he's my dad's age was going to go home that day because he was wiping his brow and wearing his mask, and it was like 85 degrees, which is hot for here. When you give with an open heart, there's 2 mudras I'm going to teach you today. Okay? And I want you to look at a lot of your statues because a lot of your statues have these 2 mudras, and you'll often see Lakshmi with 2 lotuses behind her and her right hand up facing out and her left hand laying open on her left knee. Okay, this is, the right hand says back up, I don't fear you. The left hand says, I receive whatever is coming to me with grace, and I give with generosity because I'm not afraid of losing what I have. And I'm going to teach you these specific mudras when we go back to the desk. But I'm telling you all of this because, first of all, be more generous than you think you can be. If that was my last $20, I still would have given it to him. I don't have all the money in the world. $20 is a lot for 3 flowers. You could sit there and go, well, the rose is worth $2 and the daisy is worth, I mean, you could do that stuff, right? That man going home was worth $1,000 to me because I've watched him for a long time, like a mother. The second thing I want to tell you is when you don't know what to do, I want you to go to this position. Right hand, put your elbow close to your chest and face your palm out, and put your left hand open on your knee but relaxed. And I'll teach you the names of these mudras. When you don't know what to do or how to receive or send energy, this is your power pose. And if you look at most of your statues, even your Buddha statues, your Kuan Yin statues, some of them represent these 2 mudras. And then you'll see, like with Lakshmi, other arms. For today's sound bath, I want you to go into this position. The right hand is the masculine. We're releasing fear. We're sending fear away from us. We're telling fear we're not afraid. The left hand is your receiving feminine. And you're not like this. Like, I own you, I want you, I take you, I've got you, I'm not giving anything to anybody. The left hand goes, it doesn't go like this. It's not tense like a jazz hand. The left hand, your most relaxed position on your knee. Does that make sense? And again, even the right hand is relaxed. If you were afraid, you would be tense. But you're not afraid. You're releasing fear and you are being generous of spirit. To where you'd give your last $20 to send someone older than you home when it's hot outside. Okay. I'm going to tell you, in case you were not at the angel retreat, what I'm doing. So I'm just gently opening a circle just so the energy of our space is open and clear, and tell you what the 3 tools are that I'm using. And then I want to invite you, because this is going to be 15 minutes or so. Alexis timed me at 15 once I start. I'm using 3 singing bowls. For the sound bath, I used all the upper chakra bowls, throat and third eye and crown. Today I'm doing the opposite. I'm using the root chakra bowl, which is the C note. I don't know if these are in stock.
The only one in stock is solar plexus. I put a note on the little paper.
Oh, you did? Okay. It says 08 on this.
OOS out of stock.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's an S?
Sorry.
That's the cutest little S I've ever seen. Can I take that as a number of infinity and just like be with that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, there's an OOS on the other one too, but it looks like an 8. It's really cute. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell the bowls to you, but I do want to let you know in advance we don't have the root chakra, we don't have the sacral, but we do have the solar bowl in stock. So the root chakra is your C note, the sacral is your D, and the solar plexus is your E note. They're all tuned to 432 hertz, which is the God frequency. But guess what I'm going to teach you today? Seven, 7, 7. And I'm going to tell you, we need to have a gold tuning fork made for 777 hertz.
Ooh.
It's the money frequency.
It's a great idea. I'll read it.
I don't know if anybody's done it before, but like I kind of want to do it. 777. It's not 888. It's 777. So anyway, we do have the solar plexus bowl in stock. And then the other tool I'm using is my Super Magic 7 metal Tibetan singing bowl, which is also not for sale. We had, when I bought mine, I bought like 1 or 2 others, and Alexis and I did these long ago after Tucson. They were so expensive. But I'm going to play this one for you, and it's made of the 7 metals, which includes gold and silver and copper and brass and, all the sacred 7. And it has the Metatron's cube on the inside. And it also has the flower of life, and then it has all of the 7 chakra symbols on the outside. So you can't have my bowl, but I'm going to play it for you. And I do want to teach you and remind you that with Tibetan bowls, you have 2 mallets. So you have the red mallet, which is to strike the bowl. Can you hear that? I hope you can hear that. Can you hear it?
I can hear it from over here, so I'm sure they can.
We've made jokes about like my artificial singing bowl sounds. Okay. And then hopefully you can hear me playing it. It should be on the ground. I'm going to play it on the ground this time because it doesn't vibrate that way. So you are receiving massive divine frequencies when I play this bowl, and I'm going to start and end the sound bath that way.
They said
Do you
yes.
have any questions?
They said yes, very deep.
Okay, good. You can hear it. It's very resonant, right?
And I'm keeping an eye on the comments. If they start to get too loud, I'll move the mic back a little bit.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm gonna play. I was gonna play 777. It's a YouTube video. I think it's probably safe to play it because I don't think it's like a. Can we try it and then? Okay, I'm gonna try to play 777 for you.
Do you want to play while you're playing?
Could we?
Put it on my phone.
You grab my computer. I have it. I have it
You
open
have
on my
it pulled
computer.
up?
Yeah. Okay. This is gonna get real now. Let's try this. Alexis took her flannel off, so like it's getting hot in here.
No, it makes me look really wide on the camera. I get some.
She's so
comments
cute.
sometimes, too.
I wear shawls, and sometimes I'm like, it's not the most flattering thing. Okay.
Of course.
So I'll show, and we will. I'm drinking Diet Coke.
Do you need me to get anything out of your way?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I have a cold, so I'm having to extra caffeinate. I've already had 2 cups of tea and an energy drink today. Okay, so Alexis, I will text you this link, if that's okay,
Okay.
to this particular YouTube, and then if you want to share it with Karen, she can show it later,
Yes.
so that they know how to find it.
She would love that.
This is 7 hours long. This is 777 hertz, okay? And I'm going to play it in the backdrop while I play the bowls, which is a fantastic idea from Alexis. And then this is going to be a 15-minute sound bath. Then it's all the Ashta Lakshmi, which is the 8 faces of Lakshmi, all about your chimes. And then there'll be Q&A. Are you ready? Okay. I recommend you put on some headphones and lay down. If you're sitting there watching me or in the feed right now, you're kind of being too present. Maybe.
Do you want them to lay down or do you want them to sit?
Or sit down where you're
With the-
comfortable. Some people can't lay down, which is totally okay.
Didn't you say you want them to do the mudras?
Yeah, but even if they're laying down.
Do it from
Why did I do that? It's a little dramatic. My whole body wants me to lay down. If you're laying down, your left hand is at your side, comfortably open, and your right hand is above you, comfortably open. Okay? Headphones check, laying down check, sitting down check, comfortable check. And I want to call all of your grounding guides in. I want to open your grounding cord so you can release any energy that you need to that's blocking your manifestation. We have a full moon in Capricorn on Monday with no solar eclipse or lunar eclipse activity. This is a huge opportunity to manifest and open and illuminate your potential. I want to open all pathways and channels. I want to invite in your spirit guides, light beings from all dimensions, ascended masters, archangels, devas, all angels who are in service to your highest good. I want to ask them to move any energy out of your body at this time that needs to be moved, and to open all central channels and upper channels for you to receive guidance about how to manifest your fullest potential, which is what the Ashta Lakshmi is all about. And together let's say, Amen Aho, so it is. So let's get out of beta into alpha and maybe try some theta.
They want to
Today.
see the mudra one more time.
Okay, right hand up, but comfortable. It's not this. You're not trying to block, like, you're not, what is that, like, She-Ra? You're not trying to block thunderbolts. It's like this. It gently says, do not bring your war here. I'm not afraid, but don't bring it here. It's a no. This is a yes and please. So this is, I reject all fear. I am one with all that is, and I have no fear. And this is, I give everything I have to give because I know there's more behind it. Is that helpful? Take a breath there. And then I'll teach you the Sanskrit and everything behind these mudras when we're done. But it'll be cool for you to experience it before you learn it. Gets you out of your head a little bit. Okay? Arms are relaxed like jellyfish. We're not like, not jazz hands. Okay? I can't see you, but if you're doing jazz hands, it's not the right thing. Okay, here we go. Let's find our breath. sometimes I play stronger just so you know, because you need it. So close your eyes. I go gentle until it tells me to play stronger, so let the vibration move through your body. To the root of the challenge. What's it really about? Your fear. What's it really about? And let's go back before life even to the uterus, to the embryo, to the contract. And then let's do a deep cleansing breath here. Again, open up your hips really wide. Let the energy pass through so you can become an open channel. So you can compost what isn't working. Release the waste from your system. On the inhale, anything that needs to be released at the root chakra. On the exhale, just really letting it go, giving it permission to move through the lowest of the lowest channels in your physical body. And then down through your physical form, out of your root, through your feet, and down into the center of the earth, where the earth star chakra picks up to transform and transmute into usable white light. I'm going deeper now. Let it be. To raise a strong vibration. If it's too much, you can push mute or take the headphones off. Plus the I feel I want, plus the I will I do mantras. I am, I will. I am, I will. I am, I feel. I am, I want. This is the I am safe. I am safe. I am worthy of being here. I belong. I was brought here for a reason. My life is sacred. My footprint is holy. There will never be another like me. I am safe. I belong. I am worthy. I have desires. I want. I crave. I will do as I say. My will is strong. And I'm stronger than I think. I'm stronger than you know. I have power. That power comes from the sun. It comes from the divine essence that flows through me. I digest with ease all energies that come through me. Through my will, I manifest my dharma and my fullest potential. My power is to stay there for just 1 minute if it's okay with you. There's some frequency here. Let me go back to it. Kind of like a dream you can't go back to. The guides are telling me this is water. So if there's any tears that needs to be shed or money that needs to come in, it just feels like there's a frequency here. It's the right hand, the left hand, the right hand, the left hand, the right hand, the left hand. Okay, I'm back. Welcoming you. Whew. Did you feel that? I don't know how far over I went, but I just had to stay there. There was something about that. Did you feel it, Alexa? I mean, you're all water, so. And to the bata. So we're gonna take like 2 minutes and switch cameras and bring my drink up and everything else. So we'll see you on the main camera in just a minute.
And you guys will hear us.
And you'll hear us. So
Hi. So you can hear me and see me. I'm going to go get Athena over here. We're leaving the bowl alone? Oh, I couldn't stop playing that earlier either. We'll be right back, guys.
Alright, so I'm gonna stop this. Oh yeah, that was nice.
I'm in a whole different place now. We go back to teaching mode. I go, hi, where's my notes, everybody? Oh. Maybe if I put my readers on, I'll feel more professorly for.
There's that for
Okay. Am I live on this camera?
you. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
they're right there.
I just brushed my
They
hair
s-
real quick because I look like a mess.
They see you, they hear you.
Okay, cool. We're here.
You do not look like a mess. Do you need anything from me before I go back downstairs?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, I'll come
You guys ready?
I'll come back up at the beginning of class.
How can you possibly go back to class after that? Yeah, how are we going to go
I
back
know.
to class after that?
Maybe you should have attended class with that.
How are you? Just play for the rest of class. I kind of want to. Okay. So, more light would be nice in here. Not too much so you can see me. Okay. You guys have the YouTube link, right, for the music, so you don't need that. Might need this light on before you go, or those lights turned. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
I forgot to turn.
I'm like, it doesn't look like it normally does.
It's
and
good
then-
I came back in.
Because now we're like not on the floor anymore. That's good, actually, probably. Too much is too much.
Oh, you don't want this one turned over? This one's usually turned.
Oh, I don't know. No, it's too much. I was in a zone. I don't want to have all that on me. Okay. Did I leave my lip gloss down there? Oh, no, I didn't. I've got it here. Okay, we're good. Amanda's hands are hot and tingly. Some of you are sleepy. So I do look like a mess sometimes, and when I'm down on the floor kind of rolling around with bowls and stuff, my hair gets into little knots and tangles, so I always kind of brush it afterwards. So I'm like an animal, like a cat. So we did this because during the angel retreat, at the end of it in the afternoon, we did a sound bath, and we got really cool feedback that people really loved it, that it resonated, that it dropped them into a deeper state of awareness. And so when I was prepping this class with our team, I was like, wouldn't it be kind of cool, since it's a sound healing class, to actually give you a sound healing experience? And so that's why we did this. It ate into class time a little bit, but I'm still going to get through all my notes in the next like 25 minutes. I do have to consciously tell your spirit we're switching gears, because it is kind of hard to go from, like, even for me to go from super spiritual experience to my pages of notes. But I don't want to miss anything from the class as I have it planned for tonight. I'm going to burn a little bit of our Living Magic incense for the month, because it's one of our last times. One of the things, you know what I'm missing here in the on the altar space where I teach you, is one of those little brass spoons. So I would love to have one of those here. You know what I'm going to use instead of my brass spoon for today to dig this out? I don't know if you have this. We have these cool little brass incense spoons, but I'm going to use my my Athame, my Tanzanite Athame, to kind of scoop some of my incense into my bowl. And were you live with me the other day when I taught you how to burn incense, the Living Magic incense? I taught it on our main Facebook page, so I'm going to teach you really quick now. It's a really cool technique to burn your incense. So what you do, take your Living Magic incense if you have it, and pinch it up into like a little mountain. And what you can do, if it's not liquid enough, is what you do is you take some of your Living Essence spray and you spray it onto your incense. It's a little party trick, and it actually makes it easier to shape into a little mountain. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Like a little, see how there's a little, I don't know if that other camera works or not, and I don't want to mess with it, and I'm here alone in the room, but it kind of goes into like a little peak. So just like a gentle sloping, okay? So if you saw my live the other day, I taught you this. It's a kind of a cool technique for burning your incense when it has Mako powder in it. You can also use if you don't want to use your fingers, you can use your lighter to kind of mold it into a little mountain, okay? And then what you do is the 4 directions. So you figure out where you are in the room. So this is west, this is east, that is north, this is south. So you figure out where east is, and so you light it first from the east. And you take your flame and you warm it. You don't light the top, you just warm the edge in the east. And you call in new beginnings. And it'll start. Then, like a loose incense cone, that's exactly right. And again, forgive my cough, it's not the incense, I'm not feeling well today. And then in the south, you call in passion, desire, and creativity. Again, just not directly on the little pile, but just from the south, kind of calling it in. From the west, you call in abundance and flow and prosperity. Gently warming on the west. your little mountain. And then from the north, you call in grounding and presence and patience and perseverance and protection and all the energies of the north. And if you do that, you'll have enough incense to clear the whole space. My sponging fan isn't here, but I'll just kind of pass it around to you. And then a little around to me, and all around the tools that we're working with today, the chime, anything else that you're working with. And then what's cool about the incense, if you aren't aware of this, because these incense blends are incredible, and they're made with pure essential oils and all real herbs, and they're made by hand. They're blended by hand. The liquid magic, the essence, has 14 karat gold flakes in it, real gold flakes in it. What's really cool about this is it doesn't burn the middle. So what you can do is then mix this when you're done with your lighter, not with your finger because it's hot, and it will start the burning process all over again. This is good for you to use until it's all black. So I probably have another 2 or 3 full burns, and that's using, I've burned this incense about 6 times. That's how much is left. So I probably have a month or 2 if I use it every single day of burns for this incense, because once you're done, you're not done. So anyway, that's how you burn. That's a ritual way to burn your powdered incense, because it has mako powder. It is self-lighting, and so I want to make sure I taught you that with your tools for the month. Okay. I know. And we still have some of the incense, and we still have some of the essence if you would like it. It's called Mako, Miss Jade. M-A-K-K-O. And it's a self-lighting agent, so we call it a incendiary agent. It helps to burn your incense. It's one of my, it's like a party trick, you know, so you don't have to use a charcoal disc. So if you have your worksheets, you're so welcome. If you have your worksheets, we are on page 1 of Sound Healing June 2023. And I have a lot of stuff in my notes that's not on your worksheet. Otherwise you wouldn't need me, you would just need your worksheet. So Samantha, who's here with us, takes notes for you, and she will provide the full notes from tonight's class, but you are welcome to take additional notes on your worksheets if you're like me and you like to have your own notes for class. It's totally up to you. If you want to just sit back, relax, and enjoy, Samantha will give you kind of a rough overview. Yeah, if you the amount of incense, I know this sounds really weird, but we had these little brass spoons made. I think Karen linked to them. They're little brass spoons. They're like $8 on sagegoddess.com. It's one of the coolest things we brought you, and it's so affordable. After your discount, it's like $6. It's a little brass spoon, and that is the exact amount of incense to put on your, we specifically made it. It's shaped like a snake. I don't have one here to show you, but Alexis, if you're watching, if you could bring one up later, that would be really cool to show them. And I should have one here just for, you know, I didn't think about it before, but for today. But it's exactly the amount. And it actually, if you take it and kind of mold it into the incense and then turn it upside down in your burner, it makes the little mountain shape. So it's one of the cooler tools that we brought you. But don't go away yet. Just stay here, because I want to teach you about the Ashtalakshmi. Okay, so I'm starting on page 1. I'm not going to read you the worksheets because it talks about invitation and activation bells. This is not, they're sold out? Ah, shit. Sorry. Can you guys let Rosalind know that the bells are sold out, or the spoons are sold out? That's a bummer. If you got a spoon, you should be really excited because it's going to make a little mountaintop for you, and then you'll have exactly the amount of incense in your bowl. Yeah, you can also just use you can use like I would say a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm a cook. Do you guys cook too? Your 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon is about the size of the 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon is about the size of the brass spoon. So if you're a baker or a cook like me, I would get your 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon out, or your 1/2 teaspoon measuring spoon out, and that's what I would use until you get your brass spoon. Okay, this is not really a sound tool. This is meant to be hung in your house and used for sound ceremonially. at auspicious occasions. And the reason we're talking about it this month is because Sergio, our guest speaker this month, who talked all about feng shui, talked about auspiciousness, right? Like in the earth-based traditions, we talk about well aspected. In astrology, we talk about well aspected energies that are aligned to the moment. You're going to want to play these bells at every new moon, probably at every full moon. For sure, when it comes time for Diwali, which is one of the high holidays for Lakshmi, right in October at the new moon when we welcome in Lakshmi and light. I would say also the spring equinox, and maybe even Imbolc. Like when we're welcoming back light and we've been in darkness, this is when we want to play the bells, okay? There are 7 bells on this chime, and then the 8th bell that we're going to talk about tonight is the whole chime. So there are 7 main bells, and then the entire chime itself is considered the 8th. The 8th chime is for victory. So when you just want to call in like, I've got this, I'm going to succeed, this is going to work for me, that's what you call in. You work with all 8 of the bells, which is the 7 individual bells and the main chime. I'm going to teach you right now what the other 7 bells represent, which is the first 7 gifts of Lakshmi. Yeah. If you have your little kyanite spoon, do you remember that from SGTV eons ago? That's what I have at home. That's a great spoon too. I like to mention these things because some of you get these tools, and even though it's been a year or 2 years or 3 years, like they don't go out of style. We've done these little ritual spoons for you before. Okay. All right. So if you have any technical challenges with your bells or any other questions about the website, Karen is here. She's going to handle all of that for you. I'm going to focus on the worksheets, and then in about 15-20 minutes, I'm going to turn to Q&A, probably about 20 minutes from now. So if you have any questions at that time, I'm all ears and so happy to talk about either the sound bath experience that we had, and if you like that, do you want to incorporate that more experiential things into the classes or no, which I'm super open to your feedback, and also just questions about Lakshmi and then questions about bells and chimes, okay? So what is an invitation? What are activation bells? Activation bells, as their name suggests, are believed to activate or invite or initiate particular energy streams. This one has Lakshmi on it 3 times, as you can see. This is called a feng shui rattle. They are used in feng shui. It is made of solid brass. There is some copper in the mix, and these are oxidized, meaning you can put this outside. And it's perfectly fine, and it will look beautiful forever. Mine is going indoors, though. I don't know. For me, I have like wind chimes and things outside. This, for me, is an indoor piece. But I don't want to tell you what to do because honestly, if your intuition tells you, no, this has to go in your garden or it has to go on your patio, I think those are really great places for you to put these, okay? And they're totally, like, you're not going to hurt this chime. This chime will hurt you before you hurt it. It is solid. I have brass little amulets and things outside from over the years, and they look beautiful. So I don't want you to feel discouraged that like, oh, I shouldn't put brass outside or I shouldn't put copper outside. I have brass statues outside. My Lakshmi statue is brass, and she's been outside for 7 years. And honestly, she looks exactly like she did the day she came from India to me. Yeah, so please don't ever feel like your brass chimes or anything, your brass statues or anything outside are going to be harmed, because it's actually the perfect environment for them. When you activate something, you welcome it in. You amplify the power and the effectiveness, as your worksheet says, of your affirmations. Sound vibrations generated by bells, and think about bells. We've talked about bells before, especially at the beginning of the semester or the term when we were talking about your Dorji bell that I usually ring to initiate class. I used our chime this month because it's the teaching tool and it just made sense to use it. But of course we have our other brass bell, which is the usual bell I ring. Bells are used in every spiritual and even esoteric traditions to recognize the divine, to call angelic spirits and higher orders of angels, and to initiate or open a circle. And then you want to ring your bell or your chime to represent or to close, right? To finish or to complete the cycle of a class that you're teaching or a ceremony that you're holding. So you open with the chime or bell, and you close with a chime or bell. The sound vibrations generated by bells infuse your intentions with a higher energy, obviously, and manifest them more readily. Their sound creates sacred space, shielding it from negative influences. It is said that, and we talked about this during the angelic retreat this weekend, the lower frequencies, the fallen angels, don't like the sounds of bells. And there are people who use language, like invocations and blessings, and also sort of phrases to repel the darker energies. There are people who use bells and chimes to clear the space. They use them in churches, obviously. So there's a whole lineage to using bells and chimes to call in higher order frequencies and to release those that are of a lower frequency or something that isn't in service to your highest good. Okay. In feng shui, activation bells serve a functional and decorative purpose. They bring auspicious energies. When a gentle breeze passes through them or you chime them, it creates a soothing and melodic sound that helps to purify the energy and establish tranquility. This is page 1. Activation bells are also worked with as a protective tool in feng shui. So they repress the lower vibrations. The sound they produce is said to create a sonic shield that helps to ward negative energies. So this goes back to ancient China, right? And everything that Sergio talked about. So again, if you didn't see the session with Sergio on feng shui, I really want to encourage you to take the 2 hours and watch it. I have to say, we've had 6 guest speakers now, because Colin Bedell, Queer Cosmos, is our July speaker, who I'm really excited about. We've had 6, and I have to say, I don't have favorites, but I just feel like Sergio's energy was amazing, and he is such a master, and yet he was so down to earth. You know, he didn't make any of us feel like we were new to the field. And given that he has a lineage of 3 generations going back, now almost 300 years, of masters in his family of this incredible art and science of feng shui, I just want to say, if you didn't see it yet, that was your gift this month on top of your regular classes and on top of Elder Council tomorrow. Like, June has been kind of chock full, or has been. It's an overflowing month, I think, of wisdom, but make sure that you watch him if you haven't had a chance already, and you'll have access forever to the recording, so it's not too late. Okay, in Hinduism, bells obviously also play an important role in rituals and practices. They announce the arrival of the divine. The sounds resonate with subtle energies of the higher frequencies and create a connection between earthly and spiritual realms. And they call in the deities. Colin is going to be so much fun. I'm not going to talk very much because it's me, Colin, and Tara. And Colin and Tara have known each other for a long time, and they are the resident, experts in astrology. So I'm more going to be there as like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Watching and having fun and giggling with them. I can't wait though. And Colin Bedell is one of the most well-known astrologers in the world, and certainly on Instagram. He is Queer Cosmos, and so if you're not following him already, he is one of my favorite astrologers in the world. And like I said, he's friends with Tara, which is how he landed here. I'm super honored. Like, he's verified on Instagram, and he's very, very well-known. So if you're in the world of astrology, you may already be familiar with him. I always share his content to our story on Instagram because he's funny, he's relatable. His expertise is astrology and relationships, which is what we're going to be talking about. But he's funny, and he's a little irreverent. And so if you have not seen him yet, you're in for a treat. And if you're already a huge fan of his, then you're in for a treat. So no matter how you look at it, that he is your July guest speaker, and I'm really glad you're excited about it. Okay. So I'm now on page 2 of your worksheet. He's so funny. Did you see all of his stuff? I don't know if you've seen his stuff for this week. It's just, he's hilarious because Mercury is entering Cancer, which is my placement, and just all the craziness that's happening. So yeah, there's the really good astrologers are all in kind of a pack, and we're honored that Colin said yes to coming to see us, and he's going to be here in person in LA, and we're going to dinner afterward. Yeah, Tara's here. She said she's super excited. I can't wait for dinner. Like, I'm so excited about class, but I'm so excited to go eat with him, and the after party. We'll try to go live maybe from dinner too, and at least say hi to you guys. So it'll be really, really fun. Okay, so on page 2, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, prosperity, and abundance, is associated with 8 energy streams known as the Ashtalakshmi, each representing a different aspect of wealth and well-being. We work with our bells to invite in and activate each energy stream. So this is where I'm going to go off the page a little bit. You can follow in your worksheet for spelling. Okay, so number 1 is the Adi Lakshmi. I'll explain this in a minute. Number 2 is Dana Lakshmi. Number 3 is Danielle Lakshmi. Number 4 is Gaja Lakshmi. Number 5 is Santana Lakshmi. Number 6 is Veera Lakshmi. Number 7 is Vidya Lakshmi. And then on page 3, Vidya Lakshmi, and then which hand should you use? Okay, I'm not going to be talking about the worksheets anymore because I'm going off the page, but you can add to your worksheets or wait for the notes from Samantha. But I don't want to just repeat the worksheets because you can read your worksheets. And I'm adding my own kind of layer over what's there too. Okay, so what is the Ashtalakshmi? You know me, I like to go back to basics. As a professor, I hated classes, to be honest with you, where people would talk about these big concepts and then they wouldn't define them. And I would always be sitting there like listening and taking notes and going, but I don't really know what this is. And sometimes I was too embarrassed to ask. So as a teacher, I like to go back to the basics and say, so what is this thing that we're talking about? It's also referred to as the octet of Lakshmi, the gifts of Lakshmi, the offerings of Lakshmi. Remember, Lakshmi has 4 hands, and each hand represents 2 gifts. And 8 is the number of exponential wealth and abundance. We even talked about this during the angel retreat, right? 8, when you turn it on its side, is infinity, right? So it's the never-ending loop. It's the Ouroboros. It's the origin. It's the alpha and the omega, right? It's the energy cycle that never completes itself, okay? So the Ashta Lakshmi are the 8 gifts of Lakshmi. And this is why I was telling you during the sound bath. She isn't just money, and she isn't just a good harvest, and she isn't just, a good flow of energy. Those are the things we tend to kind of like, how we tend to pigeonhole people? Like, oh, she does this and they do that. Even with Lakshmi, we tend to put her in a box and go, she's money. So when you need money, you go to Lakshmi, but that's not true. Actually, her main gift is light. And through her light, she emanates these 8 rays, okay? And each one of them is different. I'm going to walk you through the 8 of them now. These are the faces of abundance. And like I said, money, if I will say something. I've known a lot of really wealthy people in my life because and in my professional life too, I know some people who are really, really wealthy. They're not always the happiest people you'll meet. Because you can have all the money in the world, and this might sound weird if you don't, but you can have all the money in the world. It's not going to guarantee you health. It's not going to guarantee you love. It's not. It doesn't on its own magnetize things that you think you want. It can actually create its own sets of problems and challenges. So the greatest wealth, and sometimes it's hard to see this, but the greatest wealth is actually multifaceted. It's like a diamond. Like, yes, you need resources to like buy things and buy food and travel and see the world and, have an easier life. But if you don't have these other ashtas, if you don't have the other facets of the 8-sided diamond, do you really have a full life? And this is the question I want to sit before you tonight, because you can go to Lakshmi not for money. You can go to Lakshmi for peace among your relationships and with your family. There's a whole arm, a gift of Lakshmi that's about your lineage, right? It's about what you leave behind in your legacy, and not just children, but like what you create, the animals that you raise and take care of, the people who love you, the animals who love you, the friends who love you and take care of you and look out for you. I'm thinking of me, like, I haven't felt well the last couple of days. Like, it's been so kind how many people have just been like, how are you feeling? You know, people don't have to care as you get older, like how you feel, or, you know, and some people do and some people don't. But that's a form of wealth, to have people who are like, is there something you need? Do you feel okay? Like, how's your, you know, are you feeling better today? That's a form of wealth in life that you can buy it with money. You can pay someone to ask you how you're feeling, but it doesn't really mean the same as someone who's just like, I was just thinking about you. Are you feeling okay today? Like, that to me is gold on its own, right? So anyway, I just share that with you. It's one of my perspectives on abundance. So the first face of Lakshmi is the Adi Lakshmi that we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you an overview of the 8. She governs money. She governs royalty and sovereignty. So do you feel powerful? Do you feel like you have sovereignty in your life? Can people take anything from you at any time, or do you have some rulership, right? She governs that. She governs knowledge and courage. She governs success. She gave birth to the god of obstacle removal. She governs spirituality, agriculture, a good harvest, and then she governs lineage and what you leave behind after you're gone. Okay. So the Adi Lakshmi, ADI Lakshmi, which is number 1 on page 2, is the primeval Lakshmi. This is the earliest form. Okay. And her job is to connect you with what we call the Atman, which is, there's no real great translation for Atman, but Atman is the soul. And Atman is also your purpose. So like, why are you here? What are you meant to do? Who are you meant to help? And how are you meant to do it? That's your Atman. It's one of my favorite words. It's not like I thought about like when I found Paxton, I'm like, should I call him Atman? And I was like, no, it's not it's not a good name for a dog, but it's a word that I love saying because it's this connection to all that is. And it isn't just your soul, but it's your soul's purpose for being here in this lifetime. So, the Adi Lakshmi is represented by the mudras that I gave you earlier. The right hand up facing out is called the Abhaya mudra, Abhaya. And it represents, again, relaxed, I have no fear. I'm fearless. So, and I said earlier, there's other translations. Do not bring your battle here is another translation of the Abhaya. This is not your battleground. So it carves a hard boundary at the line of your Atman. You can do whatever you want to do out there, but when you get here, I decide, right? This is the Abhaya mudra. And the gift of the Abhaya mudra, which I love so much, are you ready? Is called Dhyana, Dhyana, which translates to different words: silence, peace, and bliss. If nothing passes this without your permission, what do you have? Silence, peace, and bliss. You get in here, that's my choice and my problem. If I let you pass this, I've given you permission. So that's where we take on personal accountability and responsibility. So Abhaya, the Abhaya mudra, provides you with Dhyana, which is peace, presence, silence, and bliss. Does that make sense? Okay. And then we have the Varada mudra, Varada, which is the other hand. So you often see Lakshmi like this. Right hand up, you do not pass. Left hand out, I will give you my last rose, my last $20, I'll give you whatever I have. Because I know there's more coming, right? I'm not afraid to give what I have. So it's, you shall not pass if your intentions are off. And I am generous because I know my soul is abundant. Isn't that beautiful? This is a beautiful posture for meditation, right? To sit cross-legged, really connected to your root chakra with your soles of your feet facing skyward, and to sit with the Abhaya and the Varada mudras. This means blessing. It's the left hand down and open. It represents offerings, abundance, flow, and forgiveness. Isn't that gorgeous? So that is the Adi Lakshmi. It's the earliest form, and it connects you to your path and purpose in this lifetime. Number 2, now you understand why I'm telling you there's so much more off the worksheet. So we're still on page 2 of your worksheet, but I'm kind of giving you the rest of the story. Number 2 is the Dhana Lakshmi, Dhana. This is the Lakshmi of wealth. She's shown, there's different representations, like you can go down the rabbit hole of this. She's often shown here with 6 or 8 hands. She's usually in a red dress or a red sari. She's holding a pitcher, usually of Amrita, which is, let me know if you want to go back to that. It's a long story and it's kind of a dirty story. I mean, it's not dirty, it's sexual, so I just don't know if it's something we want to talk about in class. Sometimes we don't go there, but this is known as the elixir of life. It is a byproduct of some transformational physical experiences. She's also shown sometimes instead of the Amrita, she has gold coins, or she'll have a coconut, because coconuts also represent abundance. Her color here is gold. The frequency is 777. This is her face. The Dhana Lakshmi is the one giving you the wealth. So again, we're going to ring the bells tonight, and we're going to welcome in each of the 7 faces of Lakshmi as we go through and activate the chime tonight. Just remind me if you want to come back to Amrita, because I have talked about it before. And I'll be honest, like I don't, as a woman, I don't know how to talk about it without using the slang. Yeah. Well, we can talk about it. I'll just have to put the earmuffs on the children's when we when we get to that part of class tonight. Okay. I'm not going to teach you how to make it. I'm going to tell you what it is. The Dhanya, not Donna, Dhanya Lakshmi is number 3. Dhanya. We're still on page 2. It says agriculture in your notes, which is true. This is also the face of Lakshmi that brings you a huge harvest, lots of fruit, flowers in your garden. She brings you, her 3 main offerings are sugars, banana, and coconuts. I almost think we should make a Dhanya perfume. Wouldn't it be fun? Karen and Alexis, can you make a note of that? With sugar, notes of sugar and banana and coconuts. We made a Ganesha once with coconut, because coconut's also sacred to Ganesha, and it represents like clearing the obstacles out of your path. But we haven't done like a sugary, banana-y, coconutty. It'd be cool to have a Dhanya perfume, which represents a good harvest. So the time is actually coming where we would want to offer that. So I don't know. It could be fun to like use like and make an incense too. I'm dreaming out loud, but like we could take like freeze-dried bananas and coconut and like cane sugar and make it into an incense with some things for good harvest, like some dried grapes and some 5-finger grass and some patchouli, and make like a. This is how design products get made at Sage God. I can tell you somewhere Karen is probably like making all these notes. Anyway, these are her offerings. So sometimes in statues, you'll see her like, why does she have a coconut? Or like, why is she holding a sugar cane? What is she doing? Or why is she holding a bunch of bananas? There are, and it'd be a great sugar scrub. There are different representations of this face of Lakshmi, and different statues will show that. You can also eat these things. Okay, so when you drink coconut water or use coconut oil on your body, that is one of the most healthy things you can do. Did you know that coconut oil is actually the best anti-aging oil on the planet? It's the reason why people in the South Pacific don't age the same way, because they use every part of the coconut. They eat the raw flesh and they make the oil out of the coconut, and they use it on their body. And it is antioxidant. It reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It's in my under eye magic for that reason, because I use it every day. Like if you get those pillow lines here, it will reduce the appearance of those, but you have to use it every day with your gua sha tools, which I've taught you this year too. So anyway, anti-aging, good harvest, all the things with the Dhanya Lakshmi. Number 4 is the Gaya or Gaja Lakshmi, which is the elephant Lakshmi. Gaja means elephant in Sanskrit, and it's associated with royalty and majesty. Have you ever been to an Indian wedding where they're riding an elephant, or each part of the wedding party is riding an elephant. They actually had a wedding like that near us here in the South Bay. And I wasn't part of it. I just happened to be on the property where the wedding was being held. So the groom rode in on an elephant. I'm not kidding. And no, I don't know how they got elephants to Los Angeles. I'm sure it wasn't easy. The bride rode in on an elephant. And I remember just watching all of this from really afar going, that is the coolest thing I've ever witnessed. And it was an Indian wedding. So it represents royalty, sovereignty, power. It represents luxury. Now I'm going to teach you something really quick about number 4, because I don't want to take too much time because I want to get to Q&A. In most traditions, and I have a teacher, I know it's time. So I have a teacher who tells me this. I'm just going to give this to you really quick. You need to honor the 4th face of Lakshmi, the Ashta of Gaja, which is the elephant. When you put money in your wallet, it all needs to be facing you. The face of the dollars need to be facing you upright. That is one of the most important things you can do, according to one of my teachers, to honor the Gaja Lakshmi. Did you know that? So every time you have to put them in order. 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. So, or whatever your currency is. So bills go upright, they go facing you, and they go in order of the dollar amount. Every time I get change in cash, I reorder the bills. And you have to do it right away. And I've actually seen my kids kind of watch me do it, like, why is she doing that? Because some people will just mush up dollars and put them in their wallet. But this is one of the ways to honor the Gaja Lakshmi. Number 5 is the Santana Lakshmi, which is offspring, children. But a lot of people choose not to have children. And you don't have to have children to honor this phase. This is also animals and inner children. How you treat animals, how you treat forms of life beneath you, and how you treat younger people is all part of Santana Lakshmi. This is another gift that she gives you. It's how you create a supportive, healthy, and nurturing environment for, especially for animals, because they can't talk and they can't complain, right? So they are especially at your will, right? You have to take care of them. And creating a good home life for animals and children is a way of sort of garnering her favor, and it's a gift that she gives you to learn how to do that. Number 6 is Veera Lakshmi, which is courage and overcoming obstacles. We talked about inner strength. This is the ability to navigate challenges in your life. So when things are not easy, you call on the Veera Lakshmi, V-E-E-R-A. It's also where the name Vera in English comes from, V-E-R-A. Vera in Latin also means truth, veritas from the root word. So Veera and Vera are courage, truth, sincerity, the ability to overcome obstacles. There's a connection between the Sanskrit and the Latin that I think is really helpful. Okay. And then, and I'll get to questions in just a second. Number 7 is the Vidya Lakshmi, which is knowledge, wisdom. The Vidya Lakshmi represents the Vedas. Sometimes you'll see Lakshmi holding 4 books. Those are the 4 Vedas, the original Hindu spiritual texts. Intellectual growth, educational opportunities. You should always be grateful for education. I've always been grateful for it. Some people don't value education. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. You're here for a sound bath, but you also want me to tickle your brain, right? So learning new things shifts your perspective on life, and it helps to expand your neural networks too, so it's really good for your brain. So this is Vidya Lakshmi for wisdom and education. And then the last one is Vijaya or Vijaya Lakshmi, which is number 8, the victory face of Lakshmi, for success and triumph, overcoming challenges. This is also where your ultimate power comes from. So this is everything coming together in one place. The last face of Lakshmi, the Vidya, is also represented by a bow. So we're going to ring the 8 bells together now, if you have your chime, and we're going to activate each one of the faces of Lakshmi, and then we will bow to each other. If you want to receive the 8 faces of Lakshmi, you're going to hold the chime in your left hand and ring the bells with your right. If you want to send the blessings of Lakshmi, you're going to hold the chime in your right hand and ring the bells with your left. You always ring from top left to top right in clockwise order. I'm going to hold it in my right hand and send this to you today because some of you may not have your tools. If you want to receive this, you're going to do the exact same thing I'm doing, but holding it in your left hand. Okay? So the first Lakshmi is the Adi for wealth. So we're going to ring that bell. So I'm going to ring it for you. We're calling in wealth. I'm calling in wealth for you. The second, well, actually, no, the first one, I'm sorry, is for spiritual growth. So we're calling in and welcoming spiritual growth and well-being. The second one is for material wealth. This is the Dana Lakshmi. And also your highest path through your Dharma. The third one is the agriculture and harvest. So we're welcoming in good crops, good harvest for you and your family. The fourth one is success and power for you. The fifth one is your family, your children, your animals, your godchildren, your nieces and nephews, and all living creatures who are younger than you or beneath you. The sixth one is courage and strength, calling that in for you. The seventh one is for knowledge. Am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one did I miss? The fourth one is royalty. The fifth one is offspring, courage. 1, 2, hold on. Enlightenment, wealth, harvest, success, and then children, offspring, courage and strength, and then knowledge. I'm going too fast. And then the eighth one is the ultimate of the Ashta, which is the gift of victory. I hit one twice. So victory for you. Let me do it one more time just so you can see it, and then I'll turn to Q&A. And let me make sure I only do each one once. Ready? Spiritual wealth, inner peace, enlightenment, the ability to be fearless and also to give selflessly. And then wealth, material wealth and money, prosperity to you. And then agriculture and abundance, success and power. It's also royalty and sovereignty. Offspring, children and animals, courage and strength, and then knowledge and education and success. You always want the chimes to face you, which is why I'm holding it towards you. If you're doing it toward you, you're going to call them all toward you. And then where this is going to hang is right on the wall right here. Like literally, if I could turn the camera this way, it's going to hang right on the wall facing where we learn and teach and where we have our events, because it's just where it's been asking to go. And there's an actual space on the wall. And everywhere else I put it, it's like I use my pendulum and it just did not want to be where I was putting it. And then when I used my pendulum here today, I was like, yeah, that's exactly where it needs to go. And that is, like I said, is due west. So it could be that it's not southeast. It could be that for me, the corner where this needs to go is due west. And I would want you to use your intuition and your pendulum or whatever divination tool you prefer to decide where that tool should go in your space. And now I'm going to answer your questions. Yeah, so I faced it to you because I wanted the energy to come to you. Some people don't have their tools. It's a great question. So I did mine for you in case you don't have your tools, because I still wanted you to receive all of that tonight. But if you're doing it for yourself, you're going to ring the chimes facing you. If you face it away, so if you're holding it, if you're doing it for you, you're going to hold it in your left hand and you're going to face the chime to you. If you're doing it for someone else, you're going to hold it in your right hand like I did, right? Or, you know, I think I held it in my left hand, but I meant to hold it in my right hand and ring the chimes facing away from you. And that will send the energy to the person that you're sending it to. I will show you. I used a different pendulum today, but I'll check it with this one. So when I ran my pendulum, because there's a wall over here, and it said no, just like it's doing now. And then there's two walls here. There's a wall right there, and so I was like, should the chime go there? And it said no. And then I held it here, and I said, should the chime go there? It did the exact same, different pendulum. And watch again. Should the chime go there? There's an open wall. No. Should the chime go there on that wall? No. And then I held it again here. Should the chime go here? And it did. It's interestingly, it's a citrine pendulum too. Hi. So use your pendulum for placement. Clockwise, yeah, as they call it, sunwise. Deo sil, toward the sun, right? Because always when you're opening energy or you're creating a vortex or you're opening a circle, you always want to go clockwise or sunwise. Because that's an opening. When you go against the sun, widdershins, moonwise, you're closing an energy circle. So you don't want to go, I mean, unless you're trying to release those energies, but in my world, I don't want to release any of that. I want all the good harvest and all the wisdom and all the magic and all the abundance and all the things, right? Yeah, Elder Council tomorrow is going to be really interesting. I've been guided to really take us toward the archangels tomorrow night, which is interesting because I've never done that with Elder Council before. And we have a special surprise for you tomorrow around Elder Council too, that has a trick up my little sleeve. So I'm really excited for Elder Council too. And what's cool is, you know what's cool about Elder Council tomorrow? Tomorrow is Sage Goddess Council before that. So I'm gathering, and do you know what I'm doing for them tomorrow? I'll tell you after we're done with class tonight because I don't want to take your time, but it's a very special homage to my lineage because I thought it'd be really cool in the month of June, getting them together when it's like high summer to call in blessings from their lineage upon the harvest for the year. And I'm giving them a gift from my own lineage's harvest. And it's something they get to eat. I wish you were here in person so I could do it with you. But yeah, so surprises tomorrow. Surprises for them, surprises for you. Will the bells be available separately? I don't know if we had any of the bells left. I forgot to ask Karen. Sometimes we have the class tools left over and sometimes we don't. So I'm going to just trust. Do you know, Alexis, if we have any class tools left?
I'm looking right now.
She's checking. If they are, they'll go into the vault section. I just don't know. But we will get back to you very quickly. What type of crystal is the ring I'm wearing? Thank you for asking. We do still have chimes? There's chimes.
I'll put the link.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know. And then there's a code today and a gift with purchase today. Did you see the little engraved palm stones? So,
And they have their own gift too.
and they have their own gift too. Is it in the vault or is it going to be on the main?
It's in the vault.
Oh, it's in the
And
vault.
I'm giving them the link right now.
So you know what the vault is? It's where we put our class tools. It's so that, because not everybody can buy the chime. You have to log into your class password and stuff, because otherwise other people would buy them. And that would make you mad, probably. It would make me mad if like anybody could buy my stuff. We try to be proprietary about that. So the crystal in the ring I'm wearing, I don't know what it is. Several people have asked. It was a gift to me a few years ago, and I don't know if it's a real stone, but I really like it. Because it's purple and blue, and I don't know.
Whatever it is pretty.
The person who gave it to me got it at an estate sale. So, and it, if it's real, it's probably really valuable. It's set in gold, but it's like purple and blue. And one of my team members said, you should just tell people it's Alexandrite. And I was like, if that's an Alexandrite, I could retire. I don't think it's an Alexandrite.
That would be such an expensive gift.
I don't think that's what it is. I think it's glass in a very pretty setting, but thank you so much for noticing it. I really appreciate it. Karina says, my chime is placed center of all the 4 directions. Not sure to count it as due north, west, east. Yeah, so I would go by the actual direction, right? Like the Pacific Ocean is right here. This is due west. So when I put the chime here, It is facing east, but it's on the western wall. But it's not northeast or northwest. I mean, this is due west. So, but that's where I'm being called to put it. And what I like about what Sergio opens up for us, and the reason I wanted him to be your guest speaker, we wanted him to be your guest speaker, is he's not hard and fast. He doesn't say, oh, it has to be in the southeast corner by the directions. He's always like, use your intuition and then think about the flow of energy in your space. And so I think that's an important lesson for us too. It's like, do we have to have everything by the feng shui map? Do we have to have it by the directional map? Or should there be like a hybrid of where our intuition meets where the rubber hits the road? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad that you guys are going to be there tomorrow. I'm really excited for it too. Miss Jade, why during the sound bath was my left hand burning so much? And she felt pain too. So your body only has certain ways to communicate with you. And getting warm, getting cold, sweating, these are autonomic responses to an intense flow of energy. Wherever you feel pain is where there's an energetic blockage, and a lot of times sound baths will show you where there's a block. Why do you need to know where there's a block? Because that's where energy is not flowing. And where energy is not flowing, that's where the sound needs to go and open. So pay attention to heat, pay attention to cold and sweat. During a really intense journey or a breath work experience, sometimes you won't be able to move your hands. They call it the lobster claw. It freaks people out the first time they experience it, unless you've had it before. And now I'm like, if I don't have a lobster claw, I feel like I didn't get my money's worth. But the energy can be so intense from breath work, for example, that you can't move your hands. It's weird when it happens. And then wherever you feel pain or discomfort or tension, or what we call a contraction in shamanism, that's where you need to go, because that's where the energy is blocked, and your energy body is showing that to you so that you can direct energy there in order to open up the channel so that the chi or the prana can flow, because that's the root and origin story of illness and disease. So if you have pain during an energetic experience, that is a total message from your sympathetic nervous system, like, let's look there, right? What do we have to do? And then you look at the Solfeggio frequency, the chakra in that region, the stones, you know what I mean? The essential oils, like that's when you bring all of the knowledge that I'm giving you to bear so that you can use tools that will help to open the flow there and increase the energy to that part of your system. It's actually a good thing. But we don't know that, right? Like, people don't tell you that. So good teachers will, like, before you go to a breath work session, good teachers will be like, listen, this could happen, that could happen, it's all normal. Or if you fall asleep, why do you fall asleep? Well, it's because it's too much for your conscious mind. They need to knock you out and get you out of the way so that your soul can listen, your soul can participate, because otherwise you're going to overthink. You're going to be focused on, I'm not comfortable, what's the temperature in the room, why did she say that, you know what I mean? And so they knock you out because they got to knock you out, because you're blah, 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 blah. And I love you, right? And I am too sometimes, like, why am I here? I don't know if I like this. Who's laying next to me? Why is she snoring? And then all of a sudden I'm like, because they got to shut me up. So then people go, well, did I still have an experience? I fell asleep. And it's like, you had a great experience. You just went to sleep. If you didn't see the link to the 777 YouTube, we will repost it for you.
It's in the Facebook group.
Oh, it's in your Facebook group too. What is it? It's called the golden frequency for wealth and abundance. That's a whole rabbit hole you can go down. So if you Google 777 Hertz, HZ for wealth, or you research the golden frequency, it's not a traditional Solfeggio. It's a non-traditional. It's sort of out of the band of the traditional Solfeggios, which is why I was mentioning to the team, like, we should make a golden tuning fork for 777. That way you could attune each one of your, like, stones or your beverages or your tea water or your soup water or what. I love making soup. I'm making soup tomorrow for myself because I'm craving comfort food. But you know what I mean? Like, before I make soup, I always bless the water or the broth. I like chicken broth as a base for my soup. Don't judge me. I'm making sausage and kale soup if you're interested, with white beans. It's really yummy. I've been craving it for a long time. But anyway, so I will always bless the broth. And 528 is a good like generic frequency for healing. It's the miracle frequency for physical healing. But 77 is for abundance. So if you're making an abundance soup, like let's say you had a good harvest and you harvested squash and zucchini and I don't know, chives and garlic and onions and all this stuff from your garden, and you wanted to make an abundance soup from your really big good harvest. I don't grow that much to make that, but if you did, because some of you do, you could actually tune the water or the broth before you add your vegetables. You could even tune each of the vegetables to represent abundance. And there are a lot of people who will tell you that that makes a bigger harvest next year. When they bless the chives this year, they have more chives next year. When they bless the zucchini this year, they have more zucchini next year. Oh, roasted pumpkin is also my favorite. Do you add ginger to yours? I do a roasted pumpkin ginger soup with toasted pumpkin seeds on top. It's really, really good. The ginger part I learned from Yasmina. I do onions and ginger in my pumpkin soup, or if you want to use like sweet potatoes are good too for that, and butternut squash is good for that too. Yeah. Let's see. Which bowl did you play first? I'm trying to remember which one I played first. I think it was the root chakra. I'm actually not for sure. Jay was asking me which one I played first. I think it was the root. I'll have to double check. You'll have to double check too. Lynn's asking, what do you do for swollen glands? Swollen glands are a sign. I'm going to go for like 5 more minutes and then see what questions you guys have, because we were going to talk about Amrita and what was the other thing I was going to talk to them about after we went offline? I can't remember. Karen Alexis will remind me. Anyway, swollen glands are a sign that your body is experiencing duress of some kind, inflammation, some kind of external influence, like you've got something happening to your lymphatic system. And so what you want to do is recognize, where is that coming from? If it's on the right side, the left side, right? Right side can represent more external influences. Left side can mean it's more internal, something that is stress that's coming from within. So there's different ways to read the energy flow. And then what you want to do is you want to try to bring a softening or a release of that energy. It can mean an infection or some kind of illness, but it's usually an early sign that something's coming into your system that your body is overwhelmed by. And that's a great time to do energy work. If your hands wanted to close, that means you were lobster clawing. Yeah, my voice is all kinds of screwed up. Let's see. Jan said hers said southeast, but she can hang it outside. She's going to double check. Yeah, I think southeast outside would be beautiful, actually. And what would be really nice, the only downside to me hanging it here is it's not going to get, Jan, like the fresh airflow, which would make the bells ring on their own sometimes, which is really beautiful. One of the things that inspires me is Yasmina took her chimes, like our SG chimes that we have, and she hung them outside. The Koshi chimes. And when the wind blows in Joshua Tree where she lives, like it literally sounds like she's doing a sound bath. And I'm like, I now for me where I live with the salt water, it would disintegrate those chimes so fast, but where she is, it's quite dry. So let's see. Yeah, so all the details about your gift and all of that, Karen has all that information for you. So just look for the golden box, because Karen is sharing all of the 411 about your gift and the discount code and everything for you to use in her comments. 432 hertz turning forks. I think we did one a long time ago. I'm trying to remember. We've been really sticking with the chakras and the solfeggio frequencies. Oh, the naughty oddie. Now I'm like blanking on what I was going to tell you about that. I don't know. We were going to talk about Amrita though. You hung yours outside. Yeah, she does them with her, like her, is it Oscar? Her little bird that comes to visit her and eats out of her hand, which is so sweet. Oh, thank you for that, Chris Gunn. You're so right. The gua sha tools on your neck for lymphatic drainage. Up and down with some coconut oil. Up and down, up and down. It is very good. It also keeps you from getting the turkey neck.
The turkey neck?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the thing I said. We'll come right back to it after class, and I'm not remembering the specific thing we were going to come back to. You were here, but I think you were working. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to it. If it was important, we'll come back to it. I know. Oscar the Roadrunner, that's the one she does, that she has eating out of her hand. He's so cute when she comes to her. And I think he has his own Instagram account now too, which is really cute. Okay, so anyway, if anybody remembers specifically where I said I'm going to come back to that at the end of Q&A, and for the life of me, it's probably all the cold medicine I've taken today. Belinda said, I did fall asleep toward the end. I woke up to find you in the chair. And then she got up and took me with her to start dinner. I love that so much. Yeah, if you get knocked out, it's because you're not paying attention. And it's not your fault. It's just that you're distracted, right? Yeah, gua sha is really, really good. Maybe you meant on to say it. That's right. Okay, so. Oh, yes, the bow. Thank you, Madonna, for the reminder. So we did all of our chimes, and because that last face of our incredible goddess tonight, which, by the way, Laksh, I want to tell you this. Laksh means to know. Laksh means to know. And it means to know the goal, the outcome. It's like the big knowing with a capital K. So let us take a bow now to the Laksh, because Lakshmi was our guardian goddess for tonight. She's the goddess on the bells. Let's take the deep bow to each other. The divine in me knows my path. And then let's take one more deep bow to each other. The divine in me honors your path. Right? Honors your knowing, which I think is so important. Laksh. No, I don't think there's another mudra. If it's meant to be, we'll remember and we'll come back to it. Oh, Team SG, that's right. I'll show you. That's what it was. Stay there. It was
What I'm doing for class tomorrow. Oh.
yeah. Thanks you guys for remembering. I know. Okay. So, this is actually really, really sweet and super, super rare. But it's made in Glendale in a home kitchen. Whatever's left, I'm going to give it to my dad. I'm going to save one little piece for him. So my grandfather owned a vineyard. And if you watch the video, it's been posted already about Anatolia. I think he talks about it in that video. So there's a video in your Living Magic classroom, my dad talking about, right, Anatolia, and
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up, right?
yeah, she's gonna pull it up for you. I recorded my dad talking about Anatolia because it's where a really important stone comes from, but it's actually also the site of the Göbekli Tepe, which is the oldest temple on the planet. And my dad has this odd knowledge of Anatolia. Anyway, Anatolia, as he pronounces it. So when my dad was young, and if you have to sign off for tonight, by the way, I'm just gonna close our class, and I'm only gonna take 2 more minutes of your time. I bought these for him for Father's Day. So he has some of these. If he's eaten them all, he probably shouldn't have any more right now because he'll end up diabetic. This is not dates. Are you ready for the story? You can find them online, and ironically, I think they have them on Amazon too, but I don't remember what they're called. Anyway, my grandfather owned a vineyard, and he had olive trees. So he made wine, and he made olive oil, and he was very proud of it. And my grandmother helped him, and my dad and all of his siblings actually stomped the grapes and did all the things. And then it was destroyed in the war. My dad was born in 1940. He was born in July. His dad went back to fight in October of 1940. So My dad doesn't actually have any memories of them doing this until his father came back from war, and then it was at his uncle's house. But my aunts and uncles all tell the story. So in ancient times and in older times, even 100 years ago, my dad's childhood, you couldn't waste anything, right? So after the grapes were mashed, you don't throw them away. So you make candy with them. So my grandmother would take the grapes, the mashed grapes and the overripe grapes that they couldn't use for wine, into the kitchen, and she would boil them with sugar and other ingredients, a little bit of water, until it was like a paste. Okay. And isn't that cool? I need to send these to Karen. I told Karen I would send these to her, so I will find a way to get some to you. And she would boil it down to this like sticky paste, and then she would take walnuts and a needle and thread, and she would string the walnuts together, kind of like the popcorn garlands that people make. And she would take the walnuts on a thread and dip it in the grape sugar syrup and then hang it from the ceiling and wait until it dried. And then she would reboil the syrup, dip the walnuts again, hang it from the ceiling, and wait until it dried. I told my dad, I'm going to try making that. And he goes, Athena, you will have ants. It is a messy disaster. You do not want to try this. It would drip from the ceiling. She would put cloths on the floor. You do not want to. He said it was a mess. And it took a month, because it's sort of like rock candy. You dip in the old days, you would dip the string, right? And then wait for it to dry. It takes a month to get enough grape juice, which is really what it is, on the walnuts to make these. So anyway, this is still on the string. I'm going to cut it into slices tomorrow and share it with Team SG. So but it's not just candied grapes. It's like the most insane grape candy you've ever had in your life. I think it has 5 billion calories in it, and it is horrible for you, but there's protein because of walnuts. And look at that, us being on a health plan. They say you should eat nuts every day. They just don't say you should eat them dipped in sugar and grape juice. But this is a health meal. So anyway, Team SG is going to share this tomorrow, and I'm going to tell a little story about my dad, who actually used to make the perfume samples for Sage Goddess and was so proud when Sage Goddess first started 12 years ago, and now he doesn't have the strength to do that anymore. God bless him. But he still is with us in his thoughts all the time, and loves everybody at SG, and they love him too. So it's a health food. It's very healthy for you. It's grapes and walnuts. How can you go wrong? Except it's not healthy for you, and it probably will cause instantaneous diabetes if you ate the whole package. So anyway, now it's made in Glendale, California. I need to find out who's making these. I need to look. Is there a website? No, there is no website. Greek walnuts, cinnamon, vanilla, clove, sugar, water. Permit number LAG1 whatever. There's no website. God bless them. Anyway, lots of love to you guys. Thanks for staying for the minor after party tonight to talk about Greek food. But this is the harvest. This is one of Lakshmi's gifts. And what I love is what they ended up, my dad told me, what they ended up throwing away was literally trash. Like grape skins with nothing left. They made wine, they made vinegar, they made candy, and then once the candy was done, that they threw away until there was nothing left that was usable. And it's a good lesson to us, right? We have a lot that's really beautiful. It's why I make rose water with the rose petals from my garden, rather than just letting them fall off and decay. It's like, make use of all the things in your life. Appreciate what you have while you have it. That's what Lakshmi would say. Right? Namaste. All right. Good night, you guys. I will see you tomorrow for Elder Council and Team SG. I'll see you tomorrow for Sage Goddess Council. Before that, I'll see you soon. Thanks, Karen.